In some cultural news now, imagine the magic of live theatre production without having to leave your couch. The South African State Theatre has announced the launch of a streaming platform that brings live theatre performances direct to South Africans in their homes. The service will go live on the 30th of November. To tell us more, I'm joined in studio by Aubrey Sekhabi, who's the Artistic Director of the SA State Theatre. Mr. Sekhabi, a pleasure to have you on the program this evening.
Good evening. Pleasure to be here.
So maybe let's speak about what inspired the launch of this platform, SAST TV. I mean, it does sound like a game changer, taking live theatre right to the comfort of your home.
Sure. It's a long story, but I'll cut it short.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, since 1993, I've been saying theatre and television got to integrate. You know, I remember around 93, we went to Bob TV to try and film one of my productions, Roadhouse. We eventually didn't film it. I think that was one day that I was really sad in the business. But ever since then, we kept on pursuing it and presenting it to different broadcasters and saying this is the way to go. I even presented at the African Union in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. And so I think 9 years ago, we had a new CEO, Dr. Mkize, and he came across this document that I've been presenting to some different CEOs and councils and said, Sekhabi, what is this? Let's talk about it. And I said, we just want to be filming theatre and just making it work with television because we want to be broadcasting theatre. And he said, let's give it a try. You know, I mean, State Theatre came on board fully like that. And 4 years ago, we decided to create this platform. But it came to fruition in around, I think, during COVID, because during COVID, theaters were closed and artists were not working. But we had this content that we had filmed, and we went online. And when we went online, we were getting so many views, and artists were able to earn a living then. And shortly after that, we took theater into cinema. We went into Stay Kineko. So then we thought this can actually work because there was an audience for that, and we started building on it. But really, it's just to give theater more exposure and just make sure that our contribution into the theatrical landscape can reach the world.
But speaking about new media, for instance, such as streaming, some would argue that taking the live theatre experience to streaming sites might take away from this unique experience that comes with being or watching a show live in the theatre. What do we say to the so-called purists who will argue that this will simply be taking away from that unique experience in theatre?
Yes, I mean, the purists, that's why it's taken me 31 years and the State Theatre to really put it on because of the, you know, the purists that think it will take. I don't think it will take anything away because at the same time, it is live theatre. All we're doing is we're bringing a new pair of eyes in the form of lenses and capturing what's happening live on stage. So when you get to see it at home, you don't really, nothing changes. It's just that you're seeing it on the screen, but it's still a live performance. And I don't think it will take away audiences. You know, there's so many works that have been created. You know, we spend 4 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks when we prepare to put up a production. And sometimes you spend that 6 weeks and you play for 4 weeks, and then you'll never hear about that show again. You know, it ends at the State Theatre, and people in Eastern Cape, all over, they keep on saying, when is it coming here? When is it coming here? And so touring becomes so expensive, has become so expensive, you know. But you know that this work's got legs, you know, it should be going to different places. If other theatres do not invite you, it means that that's the last time you've heard about that work. And we've produced so many productions. You know, we do about 100 productions per annum at the State Theatre, and sometimes only 2, 3 tour, you know. But now, if you haven't seen it, because it's been only at the State Theatre, it didn't go anywhere, you have an opportunity to subscribe and or pay-per-view and see the work. So it's really taking theatre to the world, to the country. And I suppose once you have so many people watching it in other venues or all over the country, that gives that production an opportunity and possibilities to be invited in those provinces because then people can actually see it live.
As we discussed, call it the production process, how do you determine what is featured on this platform? The artists that will be featured, but also the productions that feature here?
I mean, we program our theatre in different ways. You know, we commission productions. So it means when we commission you, we believe in you, we believe in the work that you're doing. We enter into co-productions with companies that have already created some work and they've got a bit of funding from funding bodies, but then they do not have enough to be able to run the space and all that. So we come on board with that. And there are artists that already got the work, it's done, you know, again, they can afford this and that. So we partner with them on a split. So basically what we put on our stages, it means that we believe believe in it. And those productions that we put on our stages, all of them have got a chance to be on SAS TV platform.
Yeah, but what role does cultural representation then indeed play, especially in this selection process?
For an example, in the last month, we sent out call-outs to say we want to have people that we want to program for our main program. There's people that we want to program for our SAS Fringe, which means that it's just musicians, you know. And we have run a SAS Fringe program before where we feature musicians. You cannot believe how many musicians are talented that you do not see on our TV screens or anything that are not mainstream. But those people are denied an opportunity to be seen because they're going to be performing at a live venue once. So with this program, we are able to take you to the world, you know, because it is a global platform. But our program, we say we are a diverse theater, you know. We try and balance. Sometimes we don't really succeed because sometimes when we send out call-outs, it's based on who says, I want to be part of you. But we try and really put on works that can represent South Africa, the demographics of South Africa.
You speak about reaching a global audience. Let's speak about that, the element of bridging the gap with the South African productions managing to reach an international audience. Why the need?
Because why should it only end here? It's you know how difficult it is to make a play, you know, and you just do it for 4 weeks and it's gone, you know. But it gives artists, those artists that you don't know, those actors, you know, sometimes because actors are not on television, we don't know how good they are. And there's just so many amazing actors that are on stage, young and old. So this is an opportunity for them to be seen worldwide, for them to be recognized for their contribution, for their art. So it is important. I mean, when you are testing the platform, you know, you'll get hits from Brazil, you'll get hits from LA, you'll have people that pay-per-view to watch the product there. So that is important for us because suddenly you can be able to interact with producers. They don't necessarily have to come to South Africa to access the work. They can see the work. If they like the work and they think that we want a life experience of that work, it's got a chance.
How are you hoping that audiences will engage with this platform? And is there a way that they can even give feedback on not just how they view it, but also how they interact with some of your features on the channel?
Yes, some of our features have got, you know, you got a share button, you got a like button, you can write the review. So our platform's got so many features that allow audiences to be able to interact with it. So you can write the review and say, I like this production, I don't like this production, it was great. You can like it, you can share it. You can share the trailers as well.
Yeah. But looking at a country like South Africa, there are still parts of the country which are largely rural and may have limitations when it comes to data connectivity, for instance. How do we overcome this particular challenge in ensuring that even these communities get to access this platform?
You know, where we are at now is the beginning of the journey. And we know that it might not necessarily be smooth. So there's a lot of work that we need to put in. We have been engaging different stakeholders to see how they can come on board to partner with us. And we know that it's going to take us some time to be able to engage. I mean, we will, what you are raising is valid because in other areas you might find that they have problems with connectivity. So how does a private business come into play? How does government institutions come into play? And we have engaged those institutions and we'll see what we get from that. But it is a challenge, it is a journey that we're going to travel because we want to reach as many South Africans as possible, but we want to reach as many Africans as possible in the world. So in the country, we will be getting out there in the villages, everywhere, when we activate the program. So it's going to be a long, long journey.
Let's talk affordability. I mean, a country like South Africa, our pockets are running drier by the day. And many would argue that to pay for another expense when it comes to our streaming platforms might be something that South Africans literally can't afford. Very interesting. I see you guys also have student and family plans on this particular platform. How does that work?
So we actually got two plans there. We got a pay-per-view, view-on-demand plan where you can say, and it's 49 rands, but you can say I want to watch Askari, I want to watch Marikana, I want to watch Silent Voice, and you pay for it, then you watch it. You can be able to watch it 3 times. You can be shared on 2 devices, so you do that. But you can also say, I want to have a monthly subscription. It's 79 rands, you know, and that gives you access to all our theater programs. It gives you access to our music programs. It gives you access to our documentaries. You know, we profile a fine artist every month. So every month there's an exhibition, and we create short documentaries for those exhibitors. You are able to access that. Today we're on book 37 on our program, Conversation with the Authors. And that program is just authors coming there with an audience talking about their work. So we are capturing that. And for 79 rands, you can be able to access all that content. And you know, this content, in terms of our catalog, is quite extensive. And you know, if for archives, you know, in terms of that content also is our archives. We are archiving South African heritage because the stories that we are telling are talking about South Africa. So even for academic purposes, you should be now, if you want to see, to write about Marikana, and you can actually go and watch it because it played in 2014. You don't only have to read the script, but you can actually be able to view it. So those are the possibilities that this platform comes with.
Really fantastic. Godspeed with this project, Mr. Sekhabi. Aubrey Sekhabi is the Artistic Director of the South African State Theatre, speaking to us about their effort to bring live theatre to the comfort of people's homes.